Hello and welcome to my tropical style garden here in the UK. It's the 6th of August today and I'm going to address one of the borders in my garden that I'm not very happy with. I did mention it in my July tour video, so let's get straight to it and see what we're going to do. So this is the pathway leading through to the back, and it's this left border that is not doing that well. It gets, this front part gets sun all afternoon and evening. All the way down here will get sun in the afternoon, and then this back part, before you get to my gazebo where the CANNA Humulus farm is actually, well, at least the bottom level is quite shady. So I'm going to be looking at digging up some of these plants, keeping some of them, and replanting this with a mixture of, I'll see what I've got, but probably some large colocaceas somewhere in here, and some tenders. I say tenders, but things like cannas and gingers can stay out all year for me in the ground, get killed back by the frost, but obviously my soil's quite free draining and they come back. So what plants have we got in here? We've got, that I'm gonna keep, this is PERSICARIA, VIRGINIANA, VARIEGATA. Want to keep that, really like that. Then we have the Russian red, which is going to be dug out now, and I'll use that somewhere else. That's CANNA Russian red. It's just, as you can see now, as the sun's coming out, the dappled light, it's not really bright enough for it, to be fair. We've got a Fatsia polycarpa that I grew from seed, and that's sort of, I'm not sure I can show it, but it's got a bit leggy, can't really get the camera in, and branching over, so I might even just dig that up and turn it a bit so the leaves are further back there, so I can plant in front of it. That's just a pottage anonymous over there, not much in the ground. The Iris confusa, which has been ate by slugs, not good. And then here, and this is why this is quite bare, this had a big clump of ZANTEDESCHIA HERCULES, which is hardy for me every single year, but got knocked right back this year in the cold we had. And to be fair, it's still alive but not really doing anything, so I'm going to dig it up, pot it up, bring it back to life and plant some colocaceas or something there. So I fancy some quite large leaf colocaceas there, because if I walk back, these two pergolas that I have over the top, I've mentioned this before, but they have misters in them that just spray a real fine spray. Now I really like the idea that if I've got some large leaf colocaceas there, to see how it looks when I turn them on and the water just sort of bounces off them. I sort of use it as a bit of a, the misters I mean, I sort of use them as not irrigation, I use it for, the kids just enjoy it. I turn the misters on, gives a bit of a rainforest type effect, and we'll see what that looks like at the end when I've done it all. So what else? Let's have a look at what we've got to do then. So we've got this CANNA Black Velvet starting it. We've got the Torbay Dazzler there, Mahonia Soft Caress, CANNA Humulus to the right with some heucheras under it. Then we're going into another Mahonia Soft Caress because I like to repeat plant. Above that on the right is a Nandina domestica, potted Schefflera taiwaniana, and if I can move this, which I might even cut off, bit of Mahonia Soft Caress, there is a Cuba Etna Star, which I really like the look of, and that's probably why I'm going to end up cutting this bit of Mahonia off. And then going round, we've got loads of these CAREX, EVERILLO grasses along the bottom, and Brassiops mitis at the end of that border. That side, I'm leaving that border to a degree. I'm quite happy with that, but I want to tie this in. So I've got a variegated Persicaria there. The Torbay Dazzler is variegated. There's variegation on the unanimous shrub behind. So I need to sort of tone that down a bit. I love variegated plants, but I don't feel like any more can really go in unless it's the right kind of plant. We'll see. But I do like the way, and this was part of it, the way the Persicaria there is tying in with the variegated Brunera on the right. So part of me as well wants to, in this side, if I can, put some red colours in here to go with the CANNAs, and maybe even some lime greens to go with the CAREX grasses on the right. So I'm gonna have a look round. I've got quite a few spare plants. See what I can put in. I'm gonna dig all the stuff I don't want out, and then with some editing, should straight be back into it, all cleared up. So I unexpectedly got called away, so it's now a few hours later, unfortunately. So I'm now not going to get this done this evening. It won't affect you lot watching, because I'll get on with it another evening and get it all planted out. But I've cleared all this out, and the plants that was in there and that side. Did that before I had to go away. I had to move that Fatsia polycarpa back a bit because it was getting a bit leggy and coming forward. I've had to dig loads of these Trachycarpa seedlings out. Now, me being me, I couldn't just throw them away, so I've been potting up. I've probably potted up about 200 that I've dug out so far. I think I'm going to leave some in and just let the other plants cover them for now, because I just ain't got space to keep potting them all up. I have added some manure and chicken pellets into the border, which I've dug over, and it's now starting to rain, because I was going to carry on with this, but just wanted to show you something before I pack up and get in. Just potted up these Iris confusa. They'll go somewhere out the way, try and get them looking a better, healthier plant, the same as the red Russians which we've dug out. But these are the corms or tubers that were underground for the Zantedeschia Hercules. That is a massive corm. So I'm going to get that potted up in the greenhouse, get everything cleared away, and get on with it. Hopefully tomorrow evening. Won't make no difference to you, but see you in a sec. So it's now a few days later. It's actually Sunday afternoon. I finally managed to get out here and finish the planting off. So let's have a look at what I went for in the end. So start off with, I planted these Echinacea Sunseekers Red with the daisy-like type flowers. I thought it just added a little bit more colour to the front of the path with the CANNA Red Velvet behind it. I've heard this CANNA called CANNA Red Velvet and CANNA Black Velvet. It is the red version of CANNA Cleopatra. When you get CANNA Cleopatra, it is variegated between green and this burgundy red colour, but now and again you get offshoots that come out just a straight red colour, and that stays that colour. It doesn't revert back to the variegated, and that's what this CANNA is. So I've added the Echinacea Sunseeker Red to the front. Really quite like it. I think it brightens up the front. So to the right, them heucheras were already in, and to the left we kept the Ophiopogon Black Mundo grass. Then I've added these Colocasia esculenta. I don't know which actual variety this is. I got these, I did a swap with someone a couple of years ago, and yeah, they're really nice. They're going to grow quite large leaves, even though I've planted them quite late in the year because it's August now. They have, compared to normal edible Calicosia esculenta, these tend to have these red stems, which with the canna and the other plants I sort of thought complemented quite well. I'm hoping these will fill out a bit more now they're out of the pots and planted in the ground, and the leaf size should at least sort of double and fill all the gaps that are in there. Behind, I've just potted up a seed grown sort of purple leafed canna. Again, I don't actually know the name of this one because I messed about a few years ago sort of hybridizing different cannas, and I got a couple of these. They have sort of quite purpley leaves, almost like Canna Bird of Paradise, and sort of an orangey mango-y flower. Really nice. I have actually put them for now in like a barrel pot because the soil wasn't just good enough for them there. I know I had Canna Russian Red further down the end, but at this end it gets a lot more sun, so, and in the pot the soil will be so much sort of more nutritious for them than the ground below, which is full of basically roots and stuff. Even though I've added manure, it's not ideal for them type of plants, to be fair. So let's go down. So I've added here, this is CAREX Everlime. Now on the right, this is CAREX EVERILLO, which is just lime green, and to sort of complement them, I've gone for this CAREX Everlime, which has the lime green on the outside but like a darker green vein inside, so it's not as bright, but I wanted to sort of balance it out between the sort of two sides. And then just behind that is I had a couple of spare Colocasia black coral, so I thought I'd put them in there because they hopefully are going to get enough sun. They should fill out quite well and look really good against the Persicaria. Good contrast. Then I've just gone for some tender begonias underneath. Now there's different ways of doing this, and I'd probably sort of later on won't bother with things like begonias. I'll take them out, and you could get the same sort of look. Instead of using a tender begonia that you're gonna have to take up and look after, you could just plant more of these heucheras, either that one or this one, and get a very similar look. But I had these begonias, I really liked them, so I thought I'd put them in. Then behind that is just a ginger. I will try and put the name up because I can't remember which one it is at the moment that I put in. Then we have the Impatiens New Guinea, and behind it I've planted a different type of CAREX which is new to me, and this is CAREX Irish Green. I have to put the name up, I have to remember that. And it's sort of a lot sort of longer and thicker, quite stiff leaf compared to the other CAREXs, and a bit more upright, so I kind of like that to sort of keep the grass effect on both sides, just to try and soften it. So then behind that, after visiting a garden recently owned by Simon and Harriet and seeing these Begonian luxurians planted out for the summer. Begonia luxurians is a tender plant, has to come in to a sort of frost-free environment, not too dry for winter, but his were planted out and they just did so well. So I had these as cut-ins, which I've been growing on in pots, and I thought I'll plant them out for a couple of months before the frosts get here, see if I can bulk them up, and then I will be digging them up. But I definitely think in the future I will be using some of the space down here to always have them planted out, because they just do so well. So I'm not totally happy with it, and I probably will change it again next year, but for now I think it's just added a little bit more colour, brightened up a, let's say, a semi-shady area, because it's a bit more sunny at the beginning, and well, let's say I'm much more happier with it than I was. On to the next border, I suppose. Right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.